So we're back to our video number 2. This time we're going to be talking about using a cut list, laying out our fabric or vinyl in my instance, using templates that you make yourself, adding interfacings and stabilizers. So when we get all done, combination of written and the video, we have all of our pieces ready so that in the next video we can start putting the pieces together. So I have made a cut list, and I will share this with the group, but this is specific to my particular layout and choices of fabric, but I'll provide it to you, and if it's helpful, that's great. So I use this so I don't forget. As I cut it out, I give it a little tick mark. So I think most patterns offer this too, but I made this again specific to my fabric choices. So I have fabric 1, fabric 2, woven fuse, bosal, deck light, etc. So helpful for me. So now we have this fabric. This is a vinyl. It's on the thinnish side, so we are going to add bosal to it. If your vinyl is thicker, or it's really up to you. But sometimes you can get away with just fusing deck light or foam. So that's really a particular preference and something that you will learn over time. But I know that this bag will look nice with foam on the exterior. So next thing we're going to talk about is the pattern layout. Now, the pattern comes with this pieces to be cut on the fold, but I don't like to cut vinyl on the fold because sometimes it will shift. So you want to get a very clean, perfect cut with vinyl. So I will just print 2 and put them together with tape on the back, and then I have my full-size pattern. You might also, though, want to create a plastic template of those same pieces, as I've done here with the Dollar Tree plastic templates, cutting board templates, is so that you can do some fussy cutting, or at least some more precise layout of your pieces. Now this is I don't know if you can see it, but it's black and copper, has a faux quilting diamond template on it. So I do want to be a little careful, but this would be more forgiving than a traditional fussy cutting, trying to match things up. So I'm going to use the center mark. You can mark that on your template piece too. And I'll find a space on the fabric that I want to begin with. Probably I want to have the line between 2 of the dots of the quilting. And I just want to adjust it so it's even. And use that as your layout. And then you can use your rotary cutter to cut around. You can draw. I think this would be a good use for a rotary cutter. Usually when you do a rotary cutter, you want to put your a ruler against the edge of the template and then cut. Otherwise you keep on giving your template a haircut. Now this is a small fussy cutting tip, if you will, but the side pocket we know is going to ultimately attach to this piece in the pattern. So we want this to match up as much as possible. So I would put this piece right next to this one so that the diamonds will match up when all is said and done. So again, very forgiving. Probably if I didn't fussy cut, nobody would know, but the templates come in handy. I'll show you a better example of that. I'll put this aside for a second. This is a beautiful coral pink piece of vinyl, and I don't know if you can see the pattern or not. Hopefully, if not, you've seen this same crocodile pattern everywhere, maybe just not in this coral and silver. Here is a very distinct pattern, and we want to put this template probably in the center of this main repeat pattern there, which means you're going to have some waste over here. No big deal, you can use it for something else. So you would cut center it, cut it, and then bring it up here, and cut another one. That takes care of that. And then you would want to do something here. You wouldn't put it right next to it like we did the other guy. You probably want to go to the next pattern, repeat, and do that for the slip pocket, side pocket. So again, there's some waste, but that's part of our process when you want to have the bag look a particular way. So now, speaking of templates, you also want to, if you'd like to, make templates for the interfacing. Now I prefer, in this case now, these are the pattern piece reduced to 85%. In this case I left it cutting on the fold because I can cut interfacing and bezel on the fold. The only benefit of this is because sometimes they have you cut the pattern piece, the main size, and then they say trim 3/8 of an inch. So you're wasting some of your product. So here, I've just taken the pattern piece and copied it on the copier for 85%, or you can print it at 85% and then piece it back together again. So we have paper templates that go along with this piece and the other piece that we haven't cut yet, because this will be black and not my gold fabric. So learn how to make templates for all your pieces, and that way you don't have to, like I said, waste product and waste product, period. Okay, so next we're going to look at our marine black vinyl. This is just a simple roll. This came from My Punk Embroidery, and we're going to use this for the contrast. So our main fabric, vinyl, is the copper and black, and this is going to be the contrast, which is pretty much all the other pieces. If we look at our cut list, that'll be the side piece, the bottom, lower band, contrast band, the zipper placket, and straps. Now, sometimes vinyl has a stretch or off grain or bias, different words. So if we pull this like so, I can kind of see that it stretches. If we go this way, it doesn't. Ideally, you want to be able to cut so there's no stretch, ideally. However, some pieces, like your straps and probably your lining band, aren't going to fit going this direction here. So don't worry about it. Try if you can to cut it so that it's on grain, which is no stretch. But if you can't, go ahead, because almost always we're going to interface our pieces with some foam or Decaville-like or both. So let me show you an example. Here is the bottom piece, the base for the bag. You can tell it's not going to fit going in that direction. So we will cut it off grain, and so be it. So just an FYI. Sometimes it's a very noticeable stretch, and if possible, you want to just buy a larger piece of vinyl, because it really can make a difference on a different bag, like a pretty huge Journey from Maggie 55. That really needs to have it be cut the right way. Okay, so let's talk about linings. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about laying out the interfacing. Nothing particularly challenging about this. I like to do a rough cut. So I'll take a piece of fabric that is sufficient to make, in this case, the two lining pieces that are needed. It's much bigger, but I want to make sure that I have enough room once I press it and it's all the sizing has been removed, that I can add the interfacing, and then I cut the pattern piece. So I have no problem leaving the woven fuse in the seam allowance for my lining pieces. So you want to press it and then maybe do a little bit more precise rough cut, so you're not wasting too much of your interfacing. Adhere your interfacing and then do a final cut. There's probably more efficient ways, but that's how I do it. So I just put that there. Usually I put a clip on it. Tells me I'm going to take it to the ironing board. I won't bore you with me ironing. Just there. So anything that has a lining piece in the pattern, you're going to want to do that for. There is, showed you earlier, this is the interior pocket piece. So this piece I'm going to iron first, and then I will add my interfacing, and then I will cut it for the interior pocket measurements. I did it a little bit different in the pattern, and I'll explain that later on. So you're still going to want to make sure you check for any other also cut pieces There's also a side pocket lining piece that you'll need. And also we're going to make a slip pocket. So you'll cut some additional, I'm going to use black fabric, lining fabric for the slip pocket, and we'll use the bronze vinyl as a top for the slip pocket. So that should be really pretty. Let's see. So first we get all the interfacings, the woven fuse adhered to this. Then we will fuse all of the foam stabilizers to the vinyl pieces. And the base is one piece that's a little bit more different. So I will show you how to do that at the steam press. It's kind of fun. And then any pieces that don't need interfacing, well, make sure you get those cut and ready. That would be the band, the connectors, and the straps too. So get all those pieces cut out, fused, ready to go, and then I'll come back and show you all the final pieces before we start putting our bag together. So that's it for now.